everyone, and welcome to Health Live at Seniors today. Today we have Dr. Archit Vaidya, MD Ayurveda Medical Advisor at Cherak Pharma, Mumbai. Today's topic is digestive health in elders. And about Dr. Vaidya, he is an Ayurvedic physician with 11 years of experience and a special interest in lifestyle disorders, proficient in yoga and expertise in Ayurvedic nutrition. Welcome, doctor, to Seniors Today Healthline.
Hi, thank you so much for the kind words. And I think all the participants are there.
Yes.
Okay. Shall I start with the presentation part?
Yeah, doctor. So, before we start up, it's a request to everyone. So, if you have any queries, any related questions to digestive and seniors, you can just post it in the Q&A tab, so that once the presentation of doctor is over, we can just take one by one. So, doctor, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So let's start. So I'll start with my presentation part. So my all slides are visible to you?
Yes, doctor.
Yes. Okay. So my today's topic is digestive health in elders. I'll try to be short and sweet without boring you much. As such, this is afternoon time, maybe just waiting for the tea, nice cup of tea to shed the day off and start the new evening. So bit sleepy, trying to get out of sleep, and here I am with something boring of science and medicine. So I'll try to make it short and sweet, and let's go ahead. So why we are focusing on digestive health in elders? So basically, uh, see, as we can see, digestion is important for everybody. It's not just about elders or about age group, but there are certain aspects related to digestion which are specified or more focused in the elder part or in the late stage of life. In those, what you can say, more of a mature days or more of a what you can say when the body is not at its best, but still it's going ahead with its own pace. So that time certain things are required or certain kind of elements are required, certain kind of problems which appear, and for that we need to do certain amount of things, some precautions, some simple tips, some home remedies, let's say. All these things come into play. So for that we have to understand what is digestion, what is indigestion, what are various digestive problems, and what is their specificity or their focus or their more adherence in the elderly or in old age. So let's start with this. Now, first of all, I would like to talk about digestion part more. I'll just try not to bore you much, as I have already said. So let's understand the digestion. So as we all know, digestion starts from your mouth. So once the food is inside mouth, it is moistened by our saliva. Saliva is a more of a juice, say, which contains various amylase, various other proteins. Even it has got some amount of mucus. So what happens is that because of all these elements in the saliva, the starch in our food, like our Indian diet only consists of roti, chapati, rice, all those more of a carbs. So all those carbs contain starch. And to break down this starch, this amylase in saliva is required. So it breaks down it into starch and it is more easy for digestion. Secondly, there's a mucus in our saliva. So what happens is that that gives a slitheriness or more of a paste to food to get inside our digestive canal or esophagus. We call it esophagus. So if you look at a picture, you see a word called esophagus. There's a pipeline kind of a thing, which is a digestive tract or a pipe that is called esophagus. So what happens is that because as saliva moisten it, just like lubrication part, or in simple words, if you want to slide anything, you need to be watery, you need to be slimy. So all that sliminess is provided by saliva, so that the whatever digested food part that goes inside our stomach. So that becomes small round blob. So whatever food we chew, we mix it with our saliva, that becomes like a moist ball, and that goes inside our stomach, inside our food canal. Okay, so that is also called a bolus. So I won't bore you with much of scientific words. Wherever required, I just use one or two of them. I'm not focusing on that part much. So what happened then? Then from the esophagus, this food goes into the stomach. In stomach, there are various digestive juices. There's a acid like HCl, peptin, Of course, I'm not going to bore you with the names, but there are various digestive enzymes and juices. So they all mix up with this food ball, and then they make it easy to digest. Now let's go ahead a bit further. Now, there's second part is small intestine. If you can see, there's small intestine and there's large intestine. The inbuilt brownish thick outside is large intestine, and small pinkish one, coiled one, it's small intestine. What happens in small intestine? The food mixes with enzymes from pancreas. So pancreas, then liver are various glands outside our body. So there you can see a liver, red shape organ, just starting off figure. Then there is pancreas just below the liver. So from all these glands, some digestive enzymes get inside the small intestine and they mix with this food ball, and then this become more easy for us to digest. Then that goes into the large intestine. In large intestine, water and minerals are absorbed into the blood. So in large intestine, what happens is that whatever the bolus is come, or whatever that ball is got inside our large intestine, all the minerals, waters, vitamins, everything get absorbed in our bloodstream, and that goes for our whole body's nutrition. And whatever residue is there, that becomes a feces or stool, we call it. So that becomes our excretory product through our anus. So this is basic layout of digestive system. Of course, not going much into the details. There are a lot more details about it. There are various other glands, various organs, various hormones. There comes the insulin. There comes multiple other things. So if you have any questions, we'll work on that part in Q&A session. Right now, I'll just try to be brief, and I'll try to give more time for a Q&A part because this is a very one-side conversation. So we'll try to make it more conversation part or more of a discussion part in our later segment. So I'll try to finish off this part, this whole more of a preaching part in short while, 15 to 20 minutes. I'll try to finish it off, and so that we can proceed further for a Q&A part. Now, what is indigestion? So indigestion is simple term which is defined as difficult in digesting food, which in turn might cause some kind of uneasy sensation in the stomach. Okay, so this is basic definition of indigestion. What happens in due to indigestion? There's a loss of appetite, there's lethargy or loss of enthusiasm, there could be recurrent infection, there could be constipation or diarrhea, both things are possible. Then improper functioning of sense organ, that is another possibility. Then depression and loss of sleep. So these are certain kind of mental or cognitive symptoms which we call. Then there's loss of energy and general debility. So overall, person feel weakness, person feel no enthusiasm. There's always fatigue. All this can emerge from indigestion. Then incomplete evacuation of bladder. That is another thing. So there could be constipation. There could be urinary incontinence. So it is difficult to pass the urine or stool. That becomes another kind of problem. So indigestion, that is not able to digest the food, can lead to all these problems. Okay. So now let's see what are the causes of this indigestion. First of all, overeating. So eating too fast or eating a very high fat food can lead to indigestion. Smoking, alcohol, stress can also lead to indigestion. Some diseases like ulcer, stomach infection, IBS, which is very common, irritable bowel syndrome, can also lead to this problem. Stomach cancer, yes, of course, there are some certain serious infection like stomach cancer. They can also lead to the same problem. Then there are certain painkillers like aspirin, antibiotics, steroids, thyroid medication. All these kind of medicine also affect our digestion. It affects the various enzymes, hormones. So all that can lead to a problem. Even if you look at the figure, what happened due to indigestion? There's a lowered metabolism. There's loss of muscle. Then there could be some medication responsible for it. In case of elderly, menopause and pelvic floor issues. So mainly in ladies, menopause, which occurs around the age of 45 to 50. And then there's a premenopause, early signs of menopause, there's menopause, and then post-menopause, like after the menopause. So something like around 45 to 60 is a time slot for the ladies where all these hormonal changes occur in their body. So that affect the digestion, that affect overall health and all other things. Second part comes in sedentary lifestyle to reduce activities. Now, this is very specifically related to elders. What happens is that in elders, there is not much of activities. We don't go much out. Of course, we go for a stroll in a park and some kind of activity. But the way we are active in our young age, is not same in our old age. So that's why there is a sedentary part is more in our overall lifestyle part. So that can cause problem. There are certain serious issues like diverticular disease, but I won't go into those details. Then second is snoring and sleep apnea. Because of indigestion, there is a fat accumulation, or there could be obesity leading to the snoring and sleep apnea. Acid reflux. I'm going to touch this part in later part. So there is always hyperacidity. All these things can happen due to indigestion. Let's go ahead. Now I'll come to the main focus part. Why there is indigestion in elderly? That is very important. Okay. So as I already said, with age, many body functions slow down. Okay. Body elderly or old age is not just about slowing off your physical activities which are like visible to you. Walking becomes slow, talking becomes slow, hearing becomes impaired. So these are physical attributes which we can easily see. But what happens inside is also the same. The way our external body, our all organs, visible organs, hand, legs start aging. Similarly, our internal organs like stomach, intestine, which already shown in the previous slides, that's basically digestive organs start slowing down. It's basically body's natural process. It's a aging. So there's a aging of a skin, there's aging of the joints. Similarly, there's a aging of our digestive organs. So what happens? Because of that, due to this aging process, all these digestive functions become slow. Okay. There is a thing called as peristalsis. What is peristalsis? Peristalsis are the movement of our digestive tract. So when we eat some kind of food, any kind of food, the muscles of digestive tract makes a movement because of which this whole food starts going inside in a very linear motion or you know about delivery. So during delivery, we call it contractions and relaxation. So the muscles start contracting and relaxing. Because of that, the baby gets out. Similar similar thing happen in our digestive part. So whenever we eat something, our muscles of our digestive tract start doing the same activity, contraction, relaxation. And because of that, the food starts going inside. But now with the age, these muscles become stiffer, weaker, and less efficient. So the speed of the food going inside and all the movement of the food inside our stomach also becomes slow. So that's why there is a chances of indigestion. So though where the acid should come or where the digestive juices come, mixing them and becoming and what you can say assimilation and all other digestion process becomes slow because of that slow speed. Okay. Then with increases, stomach capacity actually decreases. So stomach is more like a bag. So that bag, let's say that bag was something like half a liter before. That becomes a quarter liter. So there's a less space. And secondly, stomach acts like a washing machine kind of motion. So stomach do those washing machine kind of movements. Because of that, food gets mixed with all those digestive juices. And that becomes easy for digestion. So as the muscles grow weak, as the size of the stomach decreases, there's a less efficiency of all this part to do the digestion. So overall digestion becomes slow. That is the crux of a thing. So what happens is that even a little bit of overeating can cause discomfort. Now let's say at the age of 30, 40, we have a habit of eating a lot. We like something, we eat it. We like more, we eat it more. And we do overeating. But that is the age where the stomach has its full capacity, where the muscles are at their best to push all this food ahead. So it is very easy for our whole digestive system to go ahead and digest whatever comes inside, right? It is something like that tandoor kind of thing. So when tandoor is hot, you can get lot more things in it and get more and more rotis coming out of it. But if the overall tandoor, that coal become what you can say exhausted or coal becomes cold, then it's very difficult to bake the same kind of breads or rotis. That same kind of thing happen over here. So little bit of overeating can also cause discomfort. Along with that, appetite as well as level of physical activity decreases. Okay, so because of all these things, as the digestive juices are low, as the enzymes are low, so there is less appetite. So overall, whole digestive tract becomes slow, sluggish, and it basically ages. In simple words. Now I'll look at certain kind of diseases. First disease is called acidity in normal language, and in medical language it's called GERD, gastroesophageal reflux disorder. Basically, what happens is that in this part, it is very common in older adults. Okay. What happens is that when the stomach acid backs into the esophagus is, as I already told you in that figure, esophagus is a pipeline which takes the food into the stomach. So if you can see in the figure, in normal adult, this green is acid. You can imagine something like that acid. So that acid is there, and there is a door to it. Now with the age, these door knobs get loose. Because of that, that door becomes loose, and the acid which is supposed to be inside the stomach gets out, and that can lead to acidity or heartburn. More common is heartburn. What are the causes of it? So obesity, eating late at night, eating wrong type of food such as fast food or fried food can cause this kind of heartburn. This is the most common thing which happens. Second most common problem here is constipation. So constipation is very common in 60s and 70s to less activity. As I said, uh, there's a aging of the muscles. So because of that, food is not going faster inside. If it is not going faster inside, the stool or the feces is not coming out faster inside. So overall, the whole, like say for example, whenever we defecate or when we go for a motion, there is again similar kind of contraction, relaxation of the sphincter muscles of intestinal muscle. Because of that, the stool or feces gets thrown out. With the age, these muscles become loose. Okay, that's why it becomes difficult to defecate or to pass the stool in one go. Okay, so symptoms include difficult or painful bowel movements. So we have to strain more. We have to sit more on the latrine and push it more. So all these kind of things happen. Infrequent bowel movements. So there's another problem is that someday stools are normal, like some days they are very hard. Someday we are not sure whether we'll get motion or not. So hard. Secondly, dry stool. Many times we face the dry stool or a very black hard stool, pellet kind of stool. All those problems happen. Then what we have to do is that, so there, hydration, drinking more and more water is essential. Eating more and more fiber. So green leafy vegetables plays an important role. Then processed food should be avoided. Then some kind of mild exercise, walking, doing some mild yoga, all these things also help in our oral digestive part or for the constipation, more of a thing. Now I'll just give you some brief tips about indigestion. I think I'm already past my time. I was supposed to finish within 20 minutes. I'm almost crossing the line. I'll just try to make it brief. So what we have to do as the age advances. So first of all, do the regular exercise. Just say a 15 to 20 minutes walk is enough. Doing some mild stretches is also enough. So just sit on the floor, do the leg stretching, do the hand stretching, stand, do the again hand stretching, shoulder stretching, neck movements. Simple stretching and body activity will also help you a lot. Why? To maintain a healthy body weight. As I said, obesity can aggravate all these problems like acidity, constipation. So that's why it's very important to maintain the healthy weight. And of course, if we get more obese, then digestion is going to affect more. Then load the diet with fiber. So more and more fiber should be part of our diet. Avoid masalas because, as I already told you, there's a high chance of acidity because of age. So avoid those spicy kind of food or even meat. If meat is a problem, or if meat is always prepared with some spicy gravies, spicy masala, avoid those kind of food because meat also pressure our digestive system a lot. That's why avoid meat. Then stick to healthy portion size. Important factor here is that the way we used to eat in our 30s and 40s should not be the same when we eat around age of 60s or 70s. It should be almost three-fourth to half of it. That is the formula. Okay. So that should be almost 75% of what we eat at the age of 40. Minimum 75%. That should be the formula. Okay. Then avoid overeating. Again, that follows the same thing. So don't exceed the capacity. So let's say at age of 40, we used to eat 100%. We can exceed up 125%, 150%. Now here, 75% should be the minimum normal, and 100 also becomes the overeating. So your diet at the age of 40 becomes your overeating when you are age of 60. A simple formula you should remember. Even in pictorials, you can see avoid eating processed and junk food, drink plenty of water. Okay, so these all things should be maintained. Now I'll just focus on few herbs, just takeaway message you can say, or some small tips. The first herb important is draksha or kali manuka, black resin. So why black resins? So they're excellent mild laxatives. As I already told you, constipation is very rampant in the old age. So this kind of black resins are a mild laxative and they regulate bowel movement. As I already told you, with the age, the muscles become lax, stiff, rigid. So this black resins push the food, give the strength to the rectal muscles or bowel, and is the constipation part. So is the motion part. Second is harada. That is harada. So harada is very available, easily available at Ayurvedic shops. It is also mild laxative, and that is this both the things, black resins and harada, both are good digestive tonic also. So that's why they help with the digestion and they help with the constipation. Similarly, black resins are also good for your acidity. So as they are sweet in taste and they are cooling in nature, so they ease out your acidity part also very nice. Second is shunti, that is dry ginger. It is a very good appetizer. Then it stimulates the digestive enzymes. So as I already told you, with the age, digestive enzymes become scary, become scanty. There is less amount of acid inside to digest the food. Here the dry ginger plays very important role. And then secondly, dry ginger also helps to reduce the abdominal gases. With indigestion, there's a with age around 6 to 70, many people goes through the bloating, belching, gases issues, gas trouble. There also this dry ginger is very important. Then another simple home hack is jeera, cumin. It's part of our basic daily diet also. And also you can have a what you can say this cumin water once a day. Similar thing also goes for black resin also. So if you having continuous heartburn or constipation, then you can just soak few dry resins in the water at night and either eat it with the water or just squeeze it, place it outside and drink that water. Okay. Then in case of this dry ginger, you can mix dry ginger with honey and then you can just lick it at the starting of your food so that whatever you eat can easily get digested. So I was talking about cumin. So cumin is essentially there's a disease called as HP. I'm not going much into that detail, but there are various digestive diseases where there's a bloating and pain inside the stomach. So here this cumin also plays very important role. Now, as I'm from a pharma company, we have got a syrup called as Dipya, which contain all these ingredients like draksha, there's black resins, then there's amla into it. Amla is also very good for digestion. So amla is overall rejuvenator. So if you look at the old age, if possible in the season of amla, right now after Diwali, the amla season will start. So try to eat fresh amla if possible. Amla is best for the digestion. Amla is best for rejuvenation. So it is more of rejuvenating. So in this age, what is required is rejuvenation or antioxidant, even vitamin C. So all this is taken care by amla. Okay, so amla is very essential for this specific 60s age. So here also you can use all these ingredients which are there in our drug called as Dipya. It's a digestive syrup, so you can use that part also. I'm just briefing you about it. Dipya improves digestion. It relieves bloating, gases. It improves the natural digestion. It helps in acidity, acid reflux. So you can even use our product also for that purpose. So you can have 1 spoon of it morning and evening and get rid of all your digestive problems. So now over to you for all Q&A. We'll start with the question and answer.
Thanks a lot, doctor. That was an amazing presentation, and I think so many of the things were clear in this. And yes, I have put it in the chat box. We do have Charak. This is a sponsored session by Charak, the farmer. So there is a number in the chat box. If you want to talk to our doctors, you can directly call them, you can WhatsApp them, and you can talk to them. Plus, there is a website address given over there. So you might have seen the products which they have, and those are very amazing, and we have actually tried that. So please do try and, but before doing that, there's only one thing which all doctors say: please do consult your doctor and then you go for whatever you do. So doctor, we have some questions from attendees. So the first is, I have chronic severe constipation, tried various laxatives, allopathic, ayurvedic and homeopathic. Now I am daily taking 1 spoon of nani harad and 2 spoons of isabgol. Should I continue this, and for how long, and is there any solution for this?
Okay. So basically, solution, if you are asking, okay. So first thing, what should you maintain is that for digestive constipation part, the first and foremost, avoid all the dry food. Avoid bread, avoid overeating, avoid anything which can seize your digestion. Have more and more green vegetables. So spinach is good, then methi is good. So all those green vegetables try to have at least twice or thrice a week. So that becomes part of your diet. As you are already taking nani harada. Nani harada, I already explained in my presentation, that is a haritaki or harada. It is really an excellent laxative, so you definitely continue with that. Isabgol, I must say that Isabgol is not basically a laxative, basically a mechanical push to your stomach. So if you are continuing with that, try to reduce the Isabgol part in it. Focus more on nani harad and black resins. As already I told you in my presentation, best thing to do is that soak 4 to 5 black resins in a water before we going to sleep. In the morning, you squeeze the black resins, take the all juices inside. So, for example, you are taking half glass of water, 4 to 5 black resins. Let water change, water color should change. Then, if you want to eat the black resins also, and drink that water, and or with that water, you can mix nani harda, like that's we call it bal recipe. So you can mix half spoon of bal nani harad into it. Secondly, another most important is that at night before going to bed, if you are not much bothered about cholesterol and you are not scared, best thing to do is that take a half cup of warm milk. Okay, then mix the natural cow ghee, best quality natural cow ghee, 1 spoon into it. Mix it very well and drink it before going to bed. Okay, that is the best way to do. So follow it throughout your life and you will never get constipated. That is the best natural medicine without actually taking any medicine. Okay, so you go, that becomes your first and foremost thing to do. Whoever is fetching the constipation, if they are okay with this milk and ghee part, of course, I'll give you another option. If you're not okay with the milk, because many people are not okay with milk, then just go with a half cup of warm water, add a spoonful of ghee into it, and go ahead with it. You will get the same results. Okay.
That was amazing. That was such a home remedy, actually, you should say. So everyone, it's useful for everyone. Thank you, doctor, for that. Moving on next, he is. I am 72 years old. I have got digestive issue. I am Narendra Shah. I often feel that stool is not coming out. I have to exert a lot of strength, which makes me understand uncomfortable. So can you have this?
I think this is the same, but I'll just explain in a detail. As basically I'm from Ayurvedic background. Uh, in old age, we call it the age of Vata. Okay, you know about the Sandhivat is the word which many of you know about. Gathiyabat, Sandhivat. So that is basically an element which dries up your body from inside. With age, this dryness is there in our stomach lining, in our intestinal lining. So intestine becomes hard. Intestinal muscles become hard. So it is difficult for those muscles to push the stool out. That's why there's so much of straining is there. Now, as you know, if there's anything which is getting hard, those who are familiar with basic home facts also. So if anything is getting hard, what we do? We apply the grease to it. We apply the oil to it, right? So if any small instrument, some in case of kitchen, we got some clamps. Clamp gets hard. What do? We rub it with the coconut oil or any oil. Then that joint become easy, or joint become easy to move, right? This similar principle. What you need here is lubrication. How to lubricate? That is another question. Best way lubricate from inside. What is the grease for our body? that is ghee. So takeaway message is ghee is grease. Okay. So have as much as ghee in your diet as possible. Start your diet with a spoon of ghee. So if you are eating a rice, take a small piece of small morsel of rice, put a spoonful of ghee on it, and eat it at the beginning. So your every food should start with ghee. If you are eating roti, dip it into the nice chunk of ghee, spoonful of ghee, start the food with a ghee, and do the same thing at the end. So start the food with a ghee, end the food with the ghee, start the day with a ghee. So in the morning, have a ghee, a half spoon of ghee, just as it is, or mix it with water and milk, as I told you. Do that and end your day with ghee. As already told you, before going to bed, drink a half glass of water with ghee or half glass of milk with ghee. So start and end everything with a ghee, and you will never get this kind of problem. You will get exact lubrication you need.
I love the concept of greasing. Actually, it's so nice, and everyone, it's just a half spoon of ghee. Okay, so don't worry. And moving on, next is piles related with constipation.
Amazing question. The topic I just missed out of my presentation because I just don't want to be lengthy. But yes, piles is most common in old age, and it is due to the constipation. First and foremost cause of piles is constipation. What is piles? Basically, piles is a part of our lining or lining around our stool area. Okay, anus. We call the stool as anus. So that is nothing but a part of your anus which goes down. Some kind of blood vessels get inside, trap inside it, and that becomes a lump, and that goes down. That becomes a pile. Why it happen? Because of straining. Why there is straining? Because of constipation. So due to recurrent constipation, we get habit of straining more and more, sitting more and more on our latrine, trying to push it harder, but still nothing comes out. Then that whole muscles become loose, and the part of muscle starts descending downwards with the blood vessel. That becomes the pile mass. Second becomes, that is a dry piles, we call it. Second becomes is bleeding piles. So when there is a hard stool, that stool rubs on that piles mass, that peduncle, or that what you can say, uh, muscle mass. Because that rubbing, the blood starts coming out, and that becomes a bleeding piles. So these two kind of piles which are very common, and as already we have discovered altogether that the main cause is constipation. So again, for constipation, ghee is the solution. Of course, nani hurd is good solution, and black resin is the solution. So those who are having piles should go with black resins, nani hurd, and ghee. That is the go-to for them. And of course, high fiber diet. And most important, if you are facing to the piles, best medicine for you is nothing but a pure buttermilk. Okay. So number one medicine for the piles is buttermilk. Why buttermilk? Buttermilk basically push the stool easily outside. Buttermilk is important for digestion. It improves the digestion because of there is less amount of constipation. And secondly, buttermilk with amount of butter, not completely dry buttermilk. You should have some amount of butter. So that gives the lubrication. And secondly, buttermilk, because of that effervescence part, it can work like a fizz. And because of that fizz, it can pass the whole food fastly outside. So once the food is going swiftly or in their good motion, the stool will come out in the good motion. So there is less chance of piles. So that becomes the whole idea. So best medicine for your piles and kind of indigestion is buttermilk. So always have one glass of buttermilk or half, not one, like say like older age, you should limit your food. Already I should not contradict myself. At least have a half glass of buttermilk after your lunch and half glass of buttermilk after your dinner. But it should not be completely dry or it should not be completely lassi. I'm not advocating lassi over here. It should be a pure buttermilk or chas. We call it chas with some kind of jeera, dhania, some kind of adrak if possible. So that becomes the best medicine for this kind of piles and constipation.
That's an amazing solution. If anyone asks me, I can also suggest them doing that. Thank you, Doctor, for that. Moving on next, what is the difference between probiotics and prebiotics and their effects on improving good health?
Okay, probiotic and prebiotic. Amazing question, which is currently mostly in trends right now. Uh, I'll talk about two aspects of it. The first is modern aspect, and second is Ayurvedic aspect. Prebiotics are nothing but a kind of germ flora or some kind of bacteria which thrives inside our internal lining of stomach and intestine. These are colonies. So we call it gut friendly bacteria or friendly bacteria. So basically, they secrete some kind of enzymes or some kind of digestive juices which are required for our digestion. Okay, so these bacteria help in the digestion, and this bacterial flora is called as prebiotic. Okay, so this is more of a colony kind of thing. So these are called prebiotic. I'm sorry, I misspelled it. Probiotic. So probiotic are basically the bacterial flora. Okay, which we can directly eat. For example, curd contains lactobacillus, right? So these are again lactobacillus are kind of friendly bacteria. So that becomes a probiotic. So pro means for, and bio means organism or a bacteria. Okay. So pro means something which is for the bacteria, something which will help the bacteria, and something which will grow their colony. Okay, and that contains those kind of bacterial stains inside. So probiotic, when we eat probiotic, let's say curd, we actually have some kind of those healthy bacteria inside our lining. Second part comes is prebiotic. Prebiotic is nothing but before the biotic, before the bacteria. What comes before the bacteria? Food. So prebiotic is nothing but a food for bacteria. So bacteria are good, so they should get a good food. Okay, so good bacteria need a good food, and bad bacteria need a bad medicine. In simple slang way. So this good bacteria is good food. So what are those good foods? So starch, some kind of healthy starch, some kind of vegetables, some kind of millets. All those become prebiotic. So they become a healthy food for those bacteria. Mainly starch is a very good for this as a prebiotic. So arrowroot starch or in Ayurvedic perspective, there's thing called as Giloy Sattva. I think Ramdev Baba has made it very famous, Giloy Sattva. So those kind of things, which are basically a starch, are become those food or nutrition for those bacteria. So this kind of food should be a part of our diet. As per the Ayurvedic perspective, basically all these things are required. So from Ayurvedic perspective, these all are basically a digestive stimulants, basically. So this always stimulate a good digestion. So you should have both prebiotic and probiotic. In probiotic, we should have curd. There's a Yakult in the market. If I go on, I can tell 10 names. So prebiotic is a big market. And for probiotic is a big market. And for prebiotic, this kind of Giloy Sattva or other some kind of starch, some healthy starch, some kind of millets, some kind of those ragi powders, or all those healthy millets becomes good prebiotic. So you should have both the things in your diet. So you can have some kind of what you can say a dalia kind of thing with this millets or with those gehu dalia. All that becomes a good food for the bacteria. So you should have both the things in your diet.
Thank you, doctor. That was too elaborated one, but thank you. Then we have one more question from Katie Dadaji. Doctor, if my husband aged 78 years has constipation, is it okay to take cremafin liquid maybe twice a week?
Okay, 78 years and difficult in passing motion. Of course, go for cremafin. I will never advocate against it. But if you are going for cremafin for 2 days in a week, for rest 4 days or rest 5 days, you should try the natural ways like ghee, black resin, and harda. Okay. So 2 days you go with cremafin, but for other days you try all the natural remedies. First of all, go with the ghee and water. That's it. So then after 1 month, reduce the cremaphine to once a week. Okay, and continue with the ghee and black resin. After 2 more weeks, try to get rid of cremaphine completely if possible. Okay, so try to reduce the cremaphine as more as possible and try to go more natural as much as possible.
Actually, natural is nice. We have many more questions, but we'll just take more one or two questions now. So we have Vishwanathan Venkatram. I'm having a dry tongue and lack of appetite in the morning, accompanied with loss of taste. I have consulted gastro doctors, but they are not able to diagnose. So, is there anything related to diet?
Okay, loss of taste, right? And indigestion problem that is very common in old age. Okay, what happens is that due to constant indigestion, there is a indigestion for pretty long period of time. Because of that, the overall palatability or overall the digestive juices will start not only inside our stomach. Do you know that there are digestive juices in our saliva also? So with the age or with the constant indigestion part, they become depleted or they become decreased. So that's why saliva becomes non-tasty or non-taste performing. So that's why this kind of loss of taste, indigestion are very common. What should be done for it? Here comes the dry ginger. So best way to tackle this problem is that if you can get a dry ginger powder anywhere, before food, take a half spoon of ghee and pinch of dry ginger powder, mix it well and lick it with your first whatever you are eating. So if you are eating rice, then with the morsel of rice, eat this powder and ghee combo. If you are eating a roti, then take a piece of roti, dip it in this dry ginger and ghee paste, eat it. Start your food with that. If you don't get dry ginger, then take a wet ginger, that's a regular ginger, juice it up, take a juice out of it, just take a pinch of that juice, not much because it's very spicy and very pungent. What you have to do is that you have to take almost say 1/4 spoon of small spoon, 1/4 small spoon of that juice, ginger juice, fresh ginger juice, double it with honey. So if you are taking 1/4 spoon of ginger juice, add half spoon of honey in it, mix it well. Okay. If you still find difficulty in taste, then squeeze a lime juice into it, a very small lime juice into it to adjust the taste, and make it a 1 spoon, one small spoon. So as I have told, quarter spoon of dry ginger of ginger juice, half a spoon of honey, and quarter spoon of lemon juice. That becomes 1 spoon. Bring that 1 spoon at the beginning of your food. You will get the very good taste in your mouth. Then the saliva becomes tasty. You will get that kind of tasty feeling in your mouth, tasty salival feeling in your mouth. Like when we find something very tasty, there is a tasty saliva in our mouth. Okay, so you'll get this kind of saliva in your mouth. And then your whole digestion becomes easy, comfortable, and you can eat quite good amount of food and digest it very well. So follow this habit.
Thank you, doctor. One more question for you. That is from Neera Mariaji. I get acidity and acute stomach ache, which is unbearable. Please advise.
Okay, now first of all, unbearable. When you this kind of word, first of all, I'll straight away tell you better you should visit a doctor because there could be multiple reasons behind it. You may think it is acidity, but we are never sure what is there. So first visit your doctor. If doctor says all is normal, then the best way for you is black raisins and dhania and jeera water. What you have to, but of course, this is all after consulting your doctor and after seeing that everything else is normal. Then only whatever I'm saying you is going to work for you. Okay. So what you have to do is that you have to soak a spoonful of dhania and jeera at night in a water. Take it lukewarm water if possible. Okay. Then say let it settle overnight. In the morning, and also you can add the 4 to 5 black raisins in it. Okay. Then let it settle for the whole night. In the morning, squeeze everything out and throw it out because that becomes very pungent in taste, and drink that water. Let's say half, make it into a jar if possible. So early morning, drink half cup of that water. Before your breakfast, have a half cup of that water. Before lunch and before dinner. So for before every food, drink the half cup of that water, and you will feel very much relief. Avoid all spicy food. Completely avoid chili, garam masala, lal tikha in your food. Try to have a plain moong dal khichdi for let's say a month. Of course, everything after visiting your doctor again. I'm very clear about it. For 1 month, go with all this kind of moong dal khichdi, dal rice. In vegetables, go for only the god family. Okay, so what you can say, those Loki, then pumpkin, all those god family kind of thing. Your ash god, if uh, that's part of your diet. So go for those kind of watery vegetables more than the core vegetables. So this will help you a lot. Even you can go for tendri also. So all those kind of cucumber kind of family, go with all these kind of vegetables.
Thank you,
And
doctor.
one
That
more.
was amazing, amazing, and elaborated one. Before, because there are many things involved in this. Like this is for all the participants. Because if you have, there are many issues. There can be many things in this. Like if I am a diabetic, can I take raisins? If I want to lose weight, or if I have a lungs issue, if I have a liver issue, can I have some ghee? So there are many things involved in this. So what you can do is there is a number given in the chat box, which is WhatsApp number. Please do contact them. It's a free consultancy. So please you can get in touch with them, and many things will be answered over there. And yes, before doing anything, please do consult your doctor, or else we have doctor in house. You can just consult them. Next week we do have, that is on 20th, we have Dr. Pawan Ojha, the senior neurologist, coming at 5 p.m. So thanks a lot, Dr. Archit Vaidya, and thanks a lot, Charak Pharma, for your valuable time, and thanks to all the participants for joining in. So please do pre-register here for the next event, and thank you everyone. See ya. Take care. Thank you, doctor. Yeah.
Thank you.